Okay. Welcome to Foundation Center West's last live stream of the year. We are here talking with Andrea Lloyd, who is the Business Development Director at Just Give. And we're going to be talking about doubling down on virtual engagement and with online donation platforms. But before we do so, just wanted to do one quick shout out for our next live stream, which will be happening first up in 2017, which will be about the Philanthropy Blueprint 2017. Lucy Bernholtz's annual industry forecast, and she will be joining us on January 12th from 1 to 2:30, and we'll have a couple other local San Francisco foundations and representatives to talk about how those trends are affecting us here locally. So hope you can join us for that as well. But now let's turn our attention to Andrea. Thank you very much for being here, especially
Thanks for having me.
so quickly soon towards the new year or all the holiday events. So we appreciate you taking the time to be with us, and also all of those on the live stream audience for actually taking time to listen in today. So just thought we would start and thought maybe you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Just Give.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about Just Give, but also to kind of contribute to your audience. Okay. So I'm the business development director at Just Give. I've been with Just Give since 2000.
Wow.
So I've played a lot of roles in the development and success of our organization. So for 15 years or more, Just Give has been connecting people with the charities and causes that they care about. Mm-hmm. We offer nonprofits a direct donation platform. We don't have annual fees. We don't have platform fees. We just charge 4.5% as a transaction fee. So, our donation platform offers certain branding and customizations that we feel aren't available on some of the lower cost alternatives for online giving. So that's one of the things that kind of differentiates us. We offer mobile donations, custom donation amounts, instant tax receipts. So a branded tax receipt is emailed after the donation. Detailed donation reports with all the donor detail, and monthly donations. So these are all the kind of things that make up the donation experience for the nonprofit. We also support donor-paid fees. So donor-paid fees is a feature that allows the donor to cover the transaction fee, so that 100% of the donation is actually getting to the nonprofit. 82% of our users actually cover the fee. Wow. Yeah, so it's a great way. It actually kind of really reduces the transaction fees, the fundraising fees that a nonprofit incurs.
Right. Wow.
So it's a great feature.
That sounds great. Can you tell us what type of nonprofits benefit from using Just Give, perhaps from other platforms that do similar things?
Sure. Our nonprofits tend to be smaller nonprofits. A lot of small nonprofits can't really afford the large, kind of annual monthly fees that some of these enterprise level platforms require. So even with a lower credit card fee, it doesn't, balance out for a nonprofit's budget. But it's not just about the transaction fee. It's not just about the costs. We also try to work with our nonprofits to increase giving, so to increase their online giving. We do this in lots of different ways. One of the ways we do it is through our blog and emails and providing kind of tips and ideas. I recently posted about our Members Give program. So we created a donation platform for American Express, and it allows card members to donate on their credit card as well as redeem their membership reward points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is a great opportunity for nonprofits to get their donors, in addition to donating, this kind of new revenue, this free money that's coming from reward points. So we're really proud of that partnership, as well as the amount of points that we've been able to redeem to charity.
That's wonderful. Are there any other partnerships that you would want to mention at this point in time that you think are special or different with Just Give?
We have lots of different partners. So it's not really a partnership, but we actually recently were. So the donation platform was actually acquired by Just Giving.
Oh.
So Just Giving is a UK company that has brought a fundraising platform to us. So it'll be the new way that we're going to really kind of focus on our nonprofits and bringing fundraising, crowdfunding to the Just Give platform.
Oh, great. Well, wonderful. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Do you have advice on how a nonprofit can pitch to become a beneficiary for any of the corporations that are participating in your corporate partner program?
Well, so Just Give is a platform for all. So we really try to advocate for the full database. It's one of the things that makes us, unique in our corporate partner level. So we don't really work with nonprofits directly to kind of connect them with the corporate partners. I mean, we do work with nonprofits, the corporate partners, to bring charity lists, like if they're looking for specific local charities. And that's where we would source charities that we'd want to connect to that organization. But a lot of times it's a national-based charity list.
Oh, great.
So.
Good to know. So you have been in this business for over 15 years, which pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, was kind of at the beginning of
the life of
the life of the whole platform.
Yeah.
And so most people at this point have heard of online giving and are participating in it and engagement. But why do you think people or organizations should have this as part of their giving portfolio?
Well, I mean, as our mobile use increases, more and more we're demanding, and this is, only in maybe the last, 5 to 6 years, we're all on our devices, and we're demanding that we're getting the information when we want it, in a form that we want it. So, getting in front of the donor at the right time and with that right message to donate online is really the opportunity that the nonprofits have to really engage with the users and kind of bring them into create a community of giving.
How would folks find out about you in terms of, I guess it's justgive.org? And what is your recruitment strategy, or how do you go about finding nonprofits to come use your platform?
Well, we have, so one of the platforms that we use is, Google. So there's this organic way of finding online donors, kind of nonprofits. But we also, work with schools. So we kind of, I've been recently working with PTAs, so kind of almost, kind of trying to get at the district level so that I can reach all of the schools, particularly the ones that aren't served, don't have strong PTA presence, so that we can, kind of offer them that service.
Wonderful.
At a broad level.
Great. Would you like to say a little bit about how does online engagement and donation systems work together to benefit nonprofits, or what do you think are the highlights for nonprofits?
Well, I feel like one feeds the other.
Yeah.
So storytelling is really an important part of the online engagement, and the internet is a great place to do it. Emails, blogs, social media. These are all mediums where people are having conversations. And so you want to be able to kind of capture those audiences and bring them into your own community. So there's a couple, reports that I've been looking at. 48% of donors on the Cone report said they would give online if given the opportunity. So we have to give them the opportunity. We have to put strong messages in front of them about the good work that nonprofits are doing and get them to donate and get them, kind of in the conversation. But of all the online engagement systems and how they work together, email is still the number one way to communicate with donors. There's also another study that marketing research, benchmarks that 27% of online donations. So, just the donations that are coming through your website or
Sure.
emails, 27% are coming from email appeals. So, I mean, email is kind of your bread and butter when it comes to online donations. So that's a really important medium to make sure that you're reaching.
Yeah, well, I've not heard that statistic, so thank you for sharing that. So when someone is putting together their giving portfolio, how do you suggest one incorporate online giving if they haven't yet? Or how would, if they wanted to be taking a closer look at how they're managing all of their giving?
Well, I mean, online giving isn't that different from, the traditional direct appeal. It's kind of putting the strategy together to do that. The number one thing you need to do, no matter what kind of communication you're putting out there, is to make sure that there's an opportunity to donate online. That, if it's an email or newsletter or any kind of communication, offline or online, that there's a place to donate. So as I said, I've been working with a lot of schools, and they have to communicate in different ways, and they have to have all different platforms. Talk to parents. They have to have the paper, newsletter, the email, and I've even seen video newsletters, out there for parents. And so what I tell them is to kind of take advantage of our shortcut URLs. So what that does is it kind of takes that longer string of where that donate button goes, and it creates a shorter link that can be specific to your charity name. And so that short URL is something that people can remember offline, and then they can apply that when they get online. And that's kind of how the two can kind of work together, to make sure that it's a cohesive effort to bring everyone online.
Great. Do you see online giving campaigns different than traditional giving campaigns, or do you see it as just an integrated approach is best?
Well, I mean, so many of the younger, nonprofits are already, they've never done an offline campaign. They only do online campaigns. But I do feel like there's so much to learn from the traditional approach, but then there's so much more opportunity with online campaigns. You can really be more flexible in how you execute your plans. If something isn't working, you can, kind of modify your messaging or, shift in some sort of way that you can't necessarily do with more traditional offline approaches.
I can see that. It is one of the benefits, right? Is on the fly changing and
you just kind of iterate and move on.
Yes. Better than the print campaign that
you've spent all this money and it's not resonating with your audience.
Absolutely.
It happens, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure it does. What do you think are the elements of a successful online giving campaign?
When I think of a successful campaign, I think of 4 elements. Goals, so planning and setting goals, kind of telling the story. And engagement is really, how you're engaging, and measurement. So when you're starting and setting your goals, you really have to think about who your audience is, what your goal is. What are you trying to target? What are you trying to achieve? Is it, more users on Facebook? Is it monthly giving, increasing the number of monthly givers? Or just increasing donations, online donations. So those are important to kind of really have specific goals, have realistic goals, not taking on too much based on your budget and your resources. So when you're kind of planning, you want to be able to measure your success. So you have to have an end to the campaign. You have to know what you're measuring. So KPIs.
I know what that means, but can you please
key performance indicators. Right. So that's basically like, what are you going to measure, and you have to understand where your baseline is. Where are you starting? How many monthly subscribers do you have? You know, what percentage of your donor base is donating monthly? And then determining how much you want to increase that by. And then that lets you know where you started and then where you get to in the end. And that's kind of why that, you know, that ending point is important, because you want to be able to measure and see if you're successful.
Is there a suggested time frame for an online giving campaign? You know, a month, 2 months, a year, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what it is. You know, you could have, you know, if you think about like a year-end campaign, it's really only, you know, 3 months. You know, you're really not getting started in that conversation until maybe October, and then it ends at, you know, that one has kind of more of a natural ending.
Sure.
But I would say, you know, something more than 6 months would be too long to really be able to measure, and it could be, you know, if you want to iterate like a couple months and then it's the same campaign, but you've taken the opportunity to you know, kind of measure it, and then okay, and then we're going to make these tweaks and this tweak, and we're going to do this differently, and then you're kind of relaunching it, even if it's a very similar campaign.
Right.
You want to still take that time to learn from what you're doing.
And have a chance to evaluate and see what can be course corrected if necessary.
Exactly.
Yeah. Great. Anything else on that point? Are there any other successful tips that you would like to share?
Well, I mean, you know, part of that was more just like the goals,
Right.
you know, kind of making sure you're clear, but, you know, really making sure that your messaging is on target. So really telling your story, making it compelling, and you know, a story that resonates with the specific user that you're targeting, I think is really important. And a clear call to action is also really important. When, you know, kind of thinking about how you're communicating, what do you want them to do? Is it for sharing on Facebook, or is it for donating? And how do you get them to do that?
Great. Well, thank you for sharing that. What are some strategies, do you think, for increasing online engagement? I know you said telling your story. Can you provide examples on how you think that can be done?
I mean, it's really difficult online. I mean, I know that, you know, getting a like to convert to a donation is really challenging.
Do you have any statistics on that, or do you know that conversion rate is?
I don't off the top of my head, but it's pretty low.
Yeah.
It's nothing to, I mean, I'm sure people have really good success at it, but I think a smaller nonprofit is going to have a lot more challenging getting people to really take that next step to donate. But I think it's really important to know your audience. So, you know, using Facebook as an example, you have to know where your audience is on social, understanding how they're using the different social media outlets. And that's how you want to kind of craft your campaign around it. If your user is on Facebook, you don't want to spend a lot of energy tweeting stuff or kind of crafting your message so it fits into 140 characters if it's, you know, if that doesn't resonate with the audience that you're trying to target. But I mean, there's so much noise on social media. It's really challenging to kind of know how to focus your energies. So, you know, being very specific in what you want to achieve, I think, is really important. But it's also important to make it a conversation. I think that's something that that we sometimes forget, that you know, it's about the conversation, and our missions are about conversation too. We're not here to solve your problem. We're here to, you know, kind of as a community, create solutions and implement solutions and work with our donors. So I think that's the two-way conversation. You know, getting that conversation going is really important, because that's what creates kind of the word of mouth. That's what spreads. You know, kind of the idea of what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a very good point, because I think a lot of people might think, you know, it's a platform for disseminating information, but the beauty of it is the fact that there is this ability to engage in a different way than you would face to face, or just having it a lot broader. Do you find any certain strategies help with increasing that online engagement? Let's take Facebook, for example. I mean, everyone, I think, is trying to get likes. You're trying to build your base, but then any ideas on how to help increase that engagement or get people involved in communicating online back and forth?
Well, it's really hard to say depending on what your mission is, like how you're talking about, what you're doing. So I think it varies from nonprofit to nonprofit, but it really it's really important to be clear about what you're trying to accomplish and give, so again, that call to action, like so that they know what you want to talk about, that they know what response that you want to get.
Sure.
Not kind of just putting, leave comments. You kind of have to ask specific questions that you actually want to know. And I think that authenticity, I think, is really important when engaging online, because people can see right through, when people aren't being authentic, and then they're not going to respond.
Right. Thank you for that. We often get questions about how nonprofits can increase online donations. Do you have strategies or recommendations for implementing an online donation tool on your website or through a platform like JustGive?
Sure. I mean, I think the number one rule for increasing online engagement is access. It's providing the donor with access to the ability to donate online. That means you have to have it on every page of your website. It can't just be in one place. It has to be on every email campaign that goes out there, even if that's not your call to action, even if it's a call for volunteering or about an event. You always want to have that there, so that if they go back to the email or they're so kind of inspired as part of the experience that you're offering them, that they can always donate. So I recently hosted a webinar for JustGive that kind of talked about the way you can customize your online donation pages at JustGive. So I talked about how nonprofits can customize their donation amounts. So that's something that's really important in how you're communicating and how you're encouraging donors to give. So, for example, it's connecting a donation amount with a kind of a specific need. $35 can buy a coat for a foster child, or $100 provides 1,000 meals.
Sure.
So it's these kind of visual incentives that can really inspire donors and kind of get them connected to what you're doing.
Great. So that seems to make a lot of sense. The shopping list sort of approach to it.
Yeah, and it doesn't work for every nonprofit. I think that's also an important message that not everyone is feeding the homeless, and it's important to understand how to use your general fund and to ask for undesignated donations. Right. There's a movement to kind of debunk the overhead myth.
Sure.
That nonprofits need to starve and they need no admin and no overhead. Everything has to go to program, and I think that hurts nonprofits. That kind of idea that everything has to go specifically to the program. So I think we have to be transparent about where the donations are going.
Right.
That yes, we will do this action for our program. We will do this, but it needs to be undesignated. We need to be able to support our organization. If you need to hire a marketing person to get you donations, to get you to the programs you need, you need to have resources to do that.
Yes. Yeah, it is an interesting want to say conflict, but that, general operating or, laundry list or some way of connecting it directly to a program. It's an interesting way to do it because you see such a laundry list that you just described with, $35 for a coat for a foster child, etc. Is really connecting more to mission. And so, that's the good visualization. But then how do you also incorporate that general op in there so that you can tie those messages to program but keep it open?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the challenge. And there's also kind of making sure that people understand that that $35, your $35 is not going out to buy a coat, that it's a visualization. It takes $35 to actually get that program running.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I have more questions, but I also see that we have audience questions, so I want to make sure we get to those because I realize our half an hour is flying by. So I'll just look at these really quickly and just ask. I think this is a really good one. I was thinking about this one as well, especially with the news about Yahoo and the hacks, etc. online. What assurance do we have to give donors about the security of doing online giving?
Sure. So, I mean, Just Give in particular, even though it was set up as a nonprofit, is a technology company. Mm-hmm. So, everything is set up, it's PCI compliant. So everything is secure and, your credit card information is protected. Mm-hmm. And another aspect is particularly sensitive to the charitable world is the donor information. Mm-hmm. So it's not just protecting the credit card numbers as the transaction happens, mm-hmm. but it's protecting that donor data. Mm-hmm. And, Just Give is definitely very strict about how we use that data. We don't even share it with the nonprofit unless the donor has given permission. Uh-huh. So we definitely have a high level of respect for privacy.
Great, thank you. So how long does it take to get set up to take donations on a platform like Just Give? I'm assuming this is also just about the idea that we're almost at the end of the year, and as much as we love holiday time, this is also the most stressful time for some nonprofits as they're trying to raise that money. But if someone wanted to get started on Just Give, what's that process and how long would it take?
Actually, the way that we've designed our platform is that it's really easy to use. It's really easy to get set up. Mm-hmm. So again, there's no licensing fees. There's no annual fees. So you're really just, kind of creating an account and adding those features of, how you want to do the donation amounts or if you're customizing programs, you're really just listing them. Mm-hmm. And then you just grab the button and the link gets put behind it and you go. So it's technical, yes, but it can be pretty fast.
Great. So here is a question, I think, about just the support that you give to nonprofits as they're setting up. One nonprofit is asking that or saying that they're having trouble setting up a donation button and was wondering what are the resources to be able to get help from from Just Give about how to do that.
Sure. We have, a really robust FAQ center, mm-hmm. Where nonprofits can go visit, support at justgive.org. So I think it's really important to be able to talk to customer service. But also I just did this webinar. So on our blog, blog.justgive.org, there's a link to the webinar, which really does walk for Just Give, it walks mm-hmm. the nonprofits through the process of customization.
Great, thank you, and hope that helps for out there. And here's a question about the donation receipt and how do you customize that? I know that you said that you could customize, the pages, etc. Mm-hmm. How do those donation receipts look when they are given out to someone who's given a donation on behalf of an organization?
Sure. So on Just Give, as long as you've uploaded your logo so that it's on your donation page, mm-hmm. that logo will show up on the donation mm-hmm. receipt. So it's right there. It's a seamless process of setting it up and getting the logo there.
Great. Well, thank you. I think we are pretty much out of time from what I can see from our clock over there. It went way too fast.
I
There's so
know.
many other questions I'd love to be asking you. But thank you very much for your time, and thank you all who have been listening out there. If you have any other questions that you want to share, feel free to tweet, and we'll try to get in touch with Andrea to see if we can get some more answers.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Happy holidays to everyone, and see you all in 2017. Thank you.
Wow.